What's poppin' YouTube? It's Jazcutz, and I'm back again with another mid-bald fade. And I'm just gonna start my Babyliss trimmers. I use these trimmers to start my guidelines only because it doesn't leave a harsh line. They're not that sharp, so it's a line that's easy to take out. And for my beginners, I highly recommend not to use your sharpest trimmers to create your guideline. It will only give you more work to do. Also, it may create a choppy blend. And here we're gonna bald out with our Andes shaver. You wanna go right underneath that line, not right exactly at the line, right underneath it. And I say not to go right at the line, at your guideline, because you want to use your shaver and fade down that stubble. So it go from bald to stubble, and you want to fade down that stubble so it looks like it goes from stubble to baldness. And here I'm going to use my #1 guard. Here I'm just creating space so that I could work out that bottom guideline. Now I'm going to use my half open, and I just go through the guideline, soften up the blend, and then you'll see me closing my half, and I'll go and aim at that bottom line again to continue to soften up that blend. Now I'm going to use no guard, aim at that bottom line, soften up that blend, so that when I close my guard, that blend is going to be completely taken out. And as I mentioned before, some areas does not require the whole blade. You'll see me just using the corners of my blade to take out that bottom line. Next, I use my 1.5 open guard, and you just want to flick out at the border. You don't want to go in too deep. I'm also going to close that 1.5 guard and soften up that blend by aiming at that bottom line. My next step will be my 1 open. Remember, I started my guideline with my 1 closed, so in order to take out that line, I will need my 1 open. Then you'll see me close that 1 guard and use my corners to soften up that line. My next step will be my half open, and we just want to soften up that blend, and we just want to only use corners and aim at those dark spots. You do not want to push the blend up too high. And I'm going to also work that half to close, so you'll see me working the lever from open to closed. just gonna be doing a little detail work. As you go higher, you want to open up the blade, and as you go lower and aim at dark spots, you can close the blade. I just highly recommend to use the corners only. Now I'm gonna take off some of the bulk. I use a 2.5 guard open. There are different ways with taking off your bulk. You could do it before the haircut, last, and also you'll see me doing a little clipper over comb technique. With certain hair, I tend to like to keep the fade darker, so I'm gonna use the 2.5 open and I work it to close. Now with darker hair, I may just use the clipper over comb and take that bulk off since it's darker. But since his hair is pretty blonde and light, I really want to be able to see that light to dark blend. Here I'm just doing more detail work, but now I'm going to use my 1.5 open to close.
Scotty dripping.
When I line up all of my clients, I tend to use Pump It Up hairspray. I like to brush down the baby hairs and lay them down first so that I can see exactly where they lay and leave a sharper lineup. I tend to use the straight razor on all of my clients. It just gives a cleaner look, it helps the fade pop more, and it grabs all those tiny hairs and bring them into uniform shape. And for the other side of the head, we're gonna speed this process up. I want you guys to follow along, try to see what steps that I'm taking, try to see what guards that I'm using. But typically I use the same step. I basically learn by repetitiveness. So as long as you keep repeating those same steps, somehow, some way, you'll either find out if you like it or don't like it.
Scotty Drippin'.
Here my client only wants like 1.5 inches off the top. So I'm gonna go through all the hair and make sure it's all even. We did a little blow dry. Now we're gonna add some product. My client likes that matte look, so I'm just gonna use my fingers and comb that through. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like my YouTube channel at Jazcutz. I highly appreciate it. More videos coming soon. Please comment below and request any tutorials you would like to see.